What's going on to all of my Sagittarius? So let's get into it. Excuse me. All right. So for you Sagittarians, this is the yearly overview for 2023. You have the Eight of Wands, the the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Swords, Ace of Swords, Justice, mm, the High Priestess, Three of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Two of Swords, Four of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. Wow. Okay. Uh so okay. So the Eight of Wands is about creating those boundaries, those healthy boundaries, right? How far passion goes. But then you have the Eight of Swords. So this is about they're needing this represents one or two things. This represents either your life needs some sort of fixing where you may need to actually fix it because you don't necessarily like where things are going, or you need to learn to embrace certain aspects of your life and take up responsibility for that and go against the grain. So, either way, it's a sense of empowerment through difficulty. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this combination of cards throws you into the tunnels of Set. And if you are not a dark practitioner where you really, or I should say, you don't necessarily have to be a dark practitioner, but you don't really know how to navigate your way through the tunnels of Set, it can be very detrimental to you for you to travel through that. Now, me personally, being a dark magician myself, go down I do go down that path. I do travel through that tree in that sense. So it's basically saying that it's time for you to learn to take charge of your own life and and grab the bull by the horns. And it's saying that it's not going to be easy for you Sagittarius at all. And that if you Sagittarius are not built to deal with confrontation, and you'll know if you are or not, but if you're not built for confrontation, then it's probably a good idea for you to conflict resolute. Um, um, and what I mean when I say conflict resolute is through appeasement to the other party, right? Or to the outside force, or to, you know, your inner force, or to who's ever given you the difficulty. The Ace of Swords represent, but ultimately it will be up to you. The life that you have for the rest of the year will be what it is that you create. Um, the Justice and the High Priestess, and again, this tarot reading gives us this dualistic dichotomy of light and dark, and the potential integration of the two, in the sense that the Justice and the High Priestess is about, again, the Justice is light. The Justice represents, right, some sort of closure, things coming to a judgment, a resolute, right, a strong resolution. And the High Priestess represents form of darkness, where it represents things that are that are not there, that are not in the light per se, things that are not easily seen. So it represents that gray area or darkness. Now, the reason why it is that this is so ironic is because the first three cards was talking about that, but I guess it didn't do it enough justice. So the Justice, ironically, and the High Priestess ended up showing up, which represents even more of that display of, you will have to make that distinction for yourself, Sagittarius. You'll have to learn to integrate that light and that darkness within your own self by being in a situation where you ultimately decide, what are the things in your life that needs to be fixed. Are there things in your life that needs to be fixed at all, right? Recreated in your own image. It's up to you. Or are there things that you think is perfect. Ultimately, it's up to you. So you'll have to learn to fix certain things. It again, this is the tunnels of Set. You have been thrown into the tunnels of Set. And like I said before, will you become more confrontational and learn to fix it through confrontation? Or will you become less confrontational and appease what others want to see from you or what others want from you? It'll be up to you. The Three of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles, this is a representation now of this is a representation now of the Three of Wands. Oh, I thought that was my family coming in. But the Three of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles now represents, you know, again, integration, right? So, and I don't mean like that, but I mean integration in light and darkness, conflict and light and darkness, conflict and appeasement. This multi universal understanding that there's something wrong with you, Sagittarius, in the sense that there's something wrong with your lives that you want to fix, and that you need to actually work on some of those things, and some of those things need to actually be left alone. And where is the middle ground where you and another person can actually work together to create what you both see in each other's imagination and create some sort of an amalgamation of that? And then you have the Ace of Pentacles. This is where your transcendence begins to bear witness or manifest, meaning that you're actually doing the work that's necessary for you to do, right? The two of swords represent, you're not just taking a defensive, inactive approach. You're actually being activated proactively to where it's not offensive, it's not defensive, it's actually an amalgamation of both. And that's great. That's an amazing thing. That's amazing, right? By also creating boundaries and creating um, acceptance of some of the things that you will get into and some of the things that you will not get into. Some of the things that you will be active about, some of the things that you will be inactive about and learn to relax about. The Four of Wands and the Seven of Wands represents the Four of Wands represents foundation. Um, Understanding that like I said, it expands on the Three of Wands, where it goes even further than just integration and amalgamation. It goes even further than that. Now it's about, now it's, can you do this with everything, right? Can you do this with your entire existence? Can you do this with your entire life? And then you have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands now represents this being a situation for you, Sagittarius, excuse me, where the seven represents, and there's where that level of passion and love and purification will come from, right? It'll come from those hardships as well as those good ships. It will come from those amalgamation of those blending in of the two. Like I said before, a lot of times people like to create these extremes, these super extremes when it comes to light sorcery, dark sorcery, a light approach, a dark approach. You have to take it into consideration that the way that it turns out, right? If it's in its real natural progression, light sorcery starts off as light and it has to necessarily become darker because because it has to become darker due to the fact that you have to honor the threat. You have to honor the potential for detriment to get in the way. So if you want to continue to teach other people and help other people the way that you as a light magician would, you will essentially have to take somewhat of a dark turn. The way that dark sorcery works is the opposite, but it goes to show you that light and dark are essentially the essence of either path. It's just a representation of, well, how do you start? me being a dark magician and being dark in its essence, it starts off dark and then it becomes lighter and lighter and lighter. So it becomes more benevolent as time goes on. At the same time, honoring the detriment and, doing what you do, but helping others, even though you started out to help yourself. When it comes to being a light magician, it's the exact opposite, helping yourself, even though you start out as trying to help others. So it's the same way for you. It represents that it doesn't matter what approach you start from, whether you are light or dark. Ultimately, you're going to, if you are on this path and you're being truthful to yourself, ultimately, you are going to be both, because there is an amalgamation of the two. Anybody who's really worth their salt is going to tell you that there is an amalgamation of the two, right? Because you can go to the extreme of dark sorcery, right? And you could exist there, but anybody who's being serious is really going to start to understand that it will quickly start to lose its power and its meaning. Same thing with the light. You can get to the light, but then you're going to realize, I do want things for myself. I do want to have things, right? Is it okay for me to just continue to help people and never ask for anything else in return? And, people will kind of lose respect for me a little bit. And I don't necessarily want that. That's dark. But then when it comes to the light aspect, with starting off dark, it's more in the sense of, well, I'm selfish and I'm really helping myself, but you're also learning how to teach. You're also teaching people how to survive very detrimental situations by using their common sense along with other things, right? Of course, sorcery gets into it, right? But so the thing is, but you're helping other people out by helping yourself first. So the thing is that let's clarify the Ace of Pentacles. I told you I'm getting better. I told you this. I told you. So to clarify the Ace of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, the Justice. So again, the Queen of Pentacles represents creating that form of attachment to the things that you want your life to be. What do you want your life to be like? Creating that imagery, as well as actually engaging in the activities that you want to drop yourself into. So from now on, it's not about what it is that other people want. It's about what you Sagittarians want. Then you have the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles represents this being a situation for you where, and enjoying those things. See, that's another thing too. Sagittarius kind of gets lost in their own, you know, desire for knowledge. And there is most definitely a need for knowledge. This is what Sagittarius represents, the desire for knowledge. That desire for knowledge begins in Virgo, but it reaches scholastically, it reaches a high point, or the highest point scholastically we're talking about, because you never stop learning even if you're not reading a book. But scholastically, meaning from a book is concerned, that's Sagittarius. And then after that, you have Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, which represents needing to make that transition from, now that you've read all it is that you can read on a situation, how do you plan on actually applying it? And Virgo kind of does that too. Virgo does that in its own regard, right? Which is one of the secrets, but it doesn't necessarily get praised until it starts to reach Sagittarius and Capricorn and beyond after that. And then you continue the process back into areas where you don't know about something, again and again and again. So then the Seven of Cups and the Justice now is about you, Sagittarius, now also learning, like I said in the Capricorn video, learning how to live life, learning how to enjoy it, learning that, things don't necessarily have to go so well with one particular person. Even the person that you may be married to, even a person that you've been in a relationship with, a long standing relationship with, and that the two of you can essentially get along or create some form of understanding between each other, even if it doesn't necessarily mean that the two of you are going to work out together. It may mean that you may actually have to separate yourself from this person because this person is stopping you from reaching that form of enjoyment and that form of gnosis, that form of actually being able to live your life and do the things that you want to do. And that's where the justice comes into place, because the justice represents, well, that's the whole point to living in the first place, is to experience and actually find out what's like. Because remember, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, in a sense that that's the whole point. That's what it is. And anything and anyone that gets in the way of your own free will, you Sagittarius needs to learn to get rid of, or to excommunicate and stop engaging in. So this year is really going to show you how to be more confrontational in a way that you should be confrontational, right? Confrontational with a purpose. It's not just going to be a form of confrontation for you, Sagittarius, where it just looks like you're being a jerk, right? Or being, a horse, if you catch my drift, for no reason. It'll actually be with cause. Like, look, I'm doing this because I'm not going to let anybody stop me or get in my way of really experiencing, right? Because that's part of what being an adult is. Now you have some form of handle on yourself. You have some form of discipline. You have some form of restraint. Now you can go out there and learn to have fun, because you know because you're not just going to get into anything. So you can have fun while at the same time rein yourself back in, bring yourself back in whenever it's too far and you're missing the point of what you set out to learn in the first place. So boundaries actually help stop nihilism, meaning there is no point to anything, right? Boundaries help stops nihilism. Nihilism is you do something so much to the point where it's not for its own benefit anymore, to the point where you've done it so much to the point where it's become ad nauseum. Well, that's why boundaries exist, and boundaries will exist for you, Sagittarius, and why it'll be in your best favor for you, Sagittarius, to actually start to figure out your own problems with a form of being antagonistic, but strategic antagonism, for you to be able to understand that what is the point of me being antagonistic with a past partner in the first place? It's because figuring out if you and a person can actually come to some sort of an agreement together, or if the two of you have to be apart to do that. So, and that goes with anything. That goes with friendships. That goes with romantic relations. That goes with family. So that's pretty much it. I know I dropped a lot of information for y'all, but sorry, I'm kind of supercharged because I was doing the research, becoming better for y'all. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get this YouTube channel to 3,500 subscribers by the end of January. As of right now, we have 3,434 subscribers, 66 subscribers left. Comment on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos.